Let's jump into the game. FaZe and Shopify Rebellion to the Verizon Skybox with Jorby and James.
FaZe, just another day at the office, another top 8, but a new challenger approaches in Shopify Rebellion. A familiar org to many people, but with a whole new face. Memory, the only returning member of the old Shopify Rebellion roster, now also supporting 2Piece and Parth, James.
And you know, this Shopify Rebellion team has had a few facelifts, but now they're back on top. You may remember them best from when Beast Mode was on the team. Beast Mode, Rapid, and Memory. They had lots of quality results. And now with this lineup, like you mentioned, Jorby, the addition of 2Piece is really what has elevated the Shopify Rebellion team. We'll see if they can keep that success going. FaZe with Mist has been looking dangerous.
It certainly has, and when FaZe did make that change, and people were wondering where FaZe is going to go, and they found out it was Mist, the reception was largely, well, this is going to be great, because First Killer is always going to deliver this kind of performance as he gets the first goal.
And it was a nice setup from Mist as well, but that is how deadly FaZe is on offense. You see 2Piece, he was flailing, but there wasn't much hope. First Killer was in full control of that ball after that pop from Mist.
Yeah, this move for FaZe is we talk about them being a perennial top 4 team. They want to be top 2 or better. And so Mist making this move makes them a little more reliable in the rotation, maybe not competing philosophies individually as they may have felt that they had with AJ, First Killer, and Sypical. But now Mist pumps it up over 1. Sypical can set it up, but I think a lot can be said about this Shopify Rebellion team with 2 young guns like Parth, who has that flip reset, 2Piece up immediately, but denied. Memory still in control, light flick for him. How about the story of Memory, James? Do you ever expect to see Memory in another top 8 again after all of the crazy things we've seen? When you got a guy like 2Piece on your team, it helps a little bit.
Well, I feel like 2Piece, after we've seen what he can do on randoms with some surprise results, young player coming in, he really does breathe new life into Memory's career, who you would mention has been around for a long time. You remember him teaming up with Lefamir all the way back in the Universal Open. Memory has been competing for so long, and you do wonder with players like Memory who've made it to the top, then they struggle to get top 16, struggle hanging out near the top if their days are numbered. But no, Memory has been a fighter, and it's paying off once more.
It's definitely worth noting, too, because a lot of players have fallen off, James, that, you know, and then they either retire if they can't get top 8 again. But Memory has stuck around for so long, and where a lot of other players would have quit, Memory is still grinding. I do remember the whole way back at Season 3 on Set to Destroy, when that team couldn't get anything done. We're talking about Memory being one of the best defenders in the world because of how often he racked up saves. You know, enough of the time capsule. We're right here in Shopify Rebellion. They're playing FaZe quite closely. In fact, getting a couple of nice transitions. Another demo for FaZe will open a gap.
A big gap as well, and the infield pass was there. Another demo from Mist. Mist slotting into this roster nicely. You can tell this FaZe team so comfortable with one another, and that shot was perfect. First Killer lays off the second touch so that Mist can take this shot, and you saw it froze Memory and 2Piece. They were thinking just for a split second, maybe First Killer will get a double touch, but no, it was a perfect pass out to Mist.
Whenever they shade one player and what they're trying to do, it's been the best way to freeze defenders. We saw version 1 early on do it against Optic, or not Optic, excuse me, against Gen G. You saw them linking up on a lot of these fake shots. And we've seen it before, but I feel like we're seeing so many more teams go to those aerial fakes to try to open up the defense because defense has gotten so good all across the board in both regions, not just North America. But Shopify Rebellion trying to punch through and get that tying goal.
Well, honestly, I feel like North America is a bit of everything. Now,
that's true. That's true.
So, I mean,
everyone's
a melting pot in terms of how many different regions are represented in North American Rocket League. But you're right. You have to be more creative now in today's game with how good defenses are. And you think of players like Nolly, who are so good off ball, getting bumps, getting demos, going for the fakes, just being unpredictable. And that it certainly comes with a premium. If you can add that to your game, you'll have much more success, especially at this level.
Rebellion hunting for their goal. Memory opened up a gap with a demo, and the shot from Barth, he hit him with the changeup, and it completely dizzied the FaZe defense.
Yeah, let's look at the clock on that one. Clock's in at 23 miles per hour. The changeup. Park knew he had to go low. Mist was too far back in net. And despite Rebellion fighting from behind for a majority of this game, now they're back out into the lead, but this could be a kickoff goal. Tough play for Park, but he does play it well to the corner.
FaZe have largely been the gatekeepers in North America. They do not lose to up-and-coming teams. They've been very consistent with that. First killer, just above the bar. Parth gets in the way. Shopify Rebellion certainly trying to test that moniker that FaZe has built up over the last year. First killer, broken up by Memory, and FaZe on more defense. Let's get the clear out for now. This two-piece plays it right back to his own end with Memory. FaZe not to be plussed by the situation, even with the ball right in front of the net as two-piece gets the lead for Rebellion.
And you just talk about the impact that two-piece is having on this team, and that effort from Parth as well. Mist he was outsped, outclassed in the corner. Parth, wonderful pinch out there, and also you have to give credit for two-piece for being there and being ready.
When Parth first joined this Rebellion roster, he came in to replace Beast Mode, which, big wheels to fill, but he was slotting in pretty nicely. He was in the places you wanted him to be. Maybe he wasn't extremely effective behind the ball, but you liked how he was positioning. You liked his game sense. And now that he's had some more time in the kettle with this team, he's looking more and more like almost like a centerpiece. Obviously, you have two-piece, who is their linchpin, but Memory sending it across. You love how Parth has looked so far on this team.
It's almost like he's chilly, It's good when you first make it, but somehow when you let it sit for a while, it just keeps getting better and better. And Parth, he's living up to it now. That goal pretty much securing the game for Rebellion.
All of FaZe sending the house on that one. Two players going for the corner boost, one going for a bump. Nobody seeing Parth in the midfield, who easily sends it away and puts game one likely out of reach here for FaZe.
I guess he's spicy chili as well, Jorby.
You need the sweet and sour, You ever go to those chili cook-offs, James? You get the spicy one, you need the sweet one to chill off a little bit. That's Parth and two-piece as Rebellion take the first game.
And I was hearing Gibbs speak about this in the green room, and he's like, it's going to be a quick sweep.
Yeah, he was like, 4-0 FaZe here, right, guys? And I was like...
No. Yeah, have you seen Rebellion? This is a new team.
And I'll be the first to say, I doubted this Rebellion team. And when they got the 17th seed when the top 16 teams were seeded, and they didn't get invited to the qualifier, they obviously didn't like that too much and felt like they deserved that 16th seed over Dignitas. Now they've proven it with results. Dignitas aren't here, and they are. And now they're bringing it to FaZe, who do beat teams that they are better than. The teams they should beat on paper, FaZe don't lose to almost ever. So the fact that Rebellion take this first win, it could mean big things for Rebellion to set the tone.
But again, Jorby, you have to hold the horses just a little bit. That's game one of a best of 7. If FaZe, you said it yourself, perhaps the most consistent team in North America, not consistently at the top in terms of the number 1, number 2 finishes, but they are always in that top 4. It seems like they never fail to reach those heights. But they are finding a tough opponent in this Shopify Rebellion team.
One thing they're going to have to contend with, however FaZe adapts. But Memory getting in front, making life difficult for FaZe to get the clear. Even there, first killer, almost getting bumped by Memory. Parth actually gets to leave the ball for two-piece. As all of FaZe were sitting back, Mist opted for the corner boost instead. They'd rather have Rebellion continue to press, confident they can get to the 50, end of the touch, and as typical carries it out, they absolutely did. Nice pass back in front, missed shot off the post. He tried to hit it in the only spot that was open. Parth waiting for first killer, who steals the boost. Parth still getting zoned out of the play, but cleared out by two-piece.
Phenomenal save there by Memory. I mean, it makes sense. Just looking at the Swiss numbers, Rebellion had some of the best defensive stats. 4th in goals allowed, only allowing 1.5 goals per game, and it's saves from Memory like that are a testament to their ability.
Uh-oh, all of Rebellion got caught out here, but Memory does get back in time. Kind of run back can cause issues as typical pass in front of First Killer. Plays it away. Again, whole net covered by Rebellion. Where was First Killer supposed to go? Now one-on-one. Parth, a hard shot. Missed up to the task. Puts it right back to the corner. Memory. Carry again. It's enough to get the 50 and freeze FaZe. First Killer bumped off the ball. Player still rotating back. So Rebellion, happy to push. They've got the boost to do it. Two-piece. And 2 touches don't go anywhere. FaZe, much pressure as they're facing. They're standing the test right now against Rebellion. First Killer has to stretch for the rebound. Rebellion will continue to push.
Did you expect this to be how the games would go? Shopify Rebellion keeping FaZe on the back foot?
No.
This is the best chance that FaZe has had, and it still hasn't really amounted to much. Shopify Rebellion, I mean, the one save for Memory, that was really, you look back on this game, that might be the moment for Shopify Rebellion, unless FaZe can get something going here. Finally, some time on attack.
Oh, Parth ready to receive, but cut off by First Killer there quickly. And you know what's funny, James, because you do look at FaZe's qualifier run. Oh, hang on a second. Net's open. Missed with a change-up. Shot off the bar and in. FaZe finally break through the Rebellion defense.
And Mist almost did not put that in. Typical gets it around Memory, and you see that Memory, if he had a bit more time to take a direct path on the ball, he could have cleared that off the goal line. He could have cleared it, but he was racing to it. Didn't expect Mist to not put that in so clean.
When you're able to hit the ball with authority and force the defense to rush your touches, good things are going to happen for you on offense. First Killer underneath on the reset, and First Killer just continues to dazzle match after match, game after game. When this guy's behind the ball, magic happens.
Oh, it's such a good first touch. A low altitude flip reset. First Killer showing you his class, his quality. And that was a statement goal.
When's the last time you've seen First Killer have a bad game? It's been a while. Even when FaZe lose, I still feel like First Killer played well. Like this guy is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and it's why FaZe is so consistent and why they continually get those top 4 finishes is because you're right. It's so rare for First Killer to play, you know, a bad game of Rocket League. He has good games. Sometimes he has unbelievable games, but most of the time, you know, he's a rock-solid player who you can rely on to make the defensive touches, score the goals that he has to. And we are seeing it here in Game 2.
You used to never be able to say that about him either. Inconsistency used to plague him. You would think as far back as Rogue, as Rebellion just missed the net. But First Killer has really done a great job molding himself into that all-round player who seems to produce time after time. He still gets that, hang on, Parth, I thought he might have had something there. Mist was there on the defense. But it might still have some trouble shaking off that old, inconsistent, oh, First Killer's just cutting rotation, trying to 1v3 argument. I think some people still feel that way when they see First Killer, but he's not that player anymore. This man facilitates the success for FaZe as much as he's the star of the team. Two-piece and Parth are trying to move downfield, but FaZe have just shut Rebellion down.
At the same time, Jorby, you wonder offensively, what will this FaZe team look like? Who will be the big players besides First Killer? Will Typical step up? We know he's got the shooting potential, and you know, Typical was known for his defense. Back on Space Station, he was the third man, and now you've got Mist, who also is such a strong third-man player. Who will be that player that's going to move up and play more of a role with First Killer up on the attack?
That's kind of the best part of having a roster like this, right? Where with AJ, you felt like the philosophy was a bit muddled. Everyone kind of wants to be that guy. And I don't think Mist is as concerned with being that guy, at least as his play style would inform us. But as far as Typical goes, it's a much more comfortable spot for him. You saw him even at the World Championship start to take a much more aggressive role. And I think he's much more comfortable being in that aggressive role. I don't want to be, you know, Mr. Stacks historian here, but the whole way back in Season 9, Season 8, when we're talking about Typical maybe being the best player in the world, and we haven't seen that kind of form from Typical. Memory going to put this ball in. There is 1 goal to go to tie it up. But with 2 seconds, they're going to need some magic on the kickoff. But I do agree with you that, you know, Typical, I think he can be that next guy that can be the guy alongside First Killer.
And well, all of FaZe is going to have to bring their A game on this kickoff. We'll see if any kickoff strats happen here for Rebellion. It does make it up the wall on two-piece. Going to have some boost to work with.
Two-piece, got the dunk! Oh, Mist was there, but, was he? That one was really close.
You're sweating a little bit. You're sweating a little bit after that one. But Rebellion fend off being swept, and they're, Rebellion, they had some good moments on attack, but overall FaZe Clan just kicked it into a different gear. Missed that shot there. Was a close call, hitting it off the crossbar. Was able to still get it through, and then that flip reset from First Killer,
clean.
that was going to be enough. And it looked like Rebellion were going to get shut out, except for that last second goal. And that play on kickoff with it rolling up the wall, the pinch narrowly missing out. I mean, you don't want to take any chances, especially in this game now, Jordan. We've seen plenty of 0-second goals. We saw some earlier with Space Station. So the fight in Rebellion was there, but unfortunately for them, they fell just short. And FaZe going to equalize in the series.
Yeah, for Shopify Rebellion, just felt like FaZe's defense was so much cleaner on the back wall. Also, one of Parth's goals from the last game, you remember it just being a complete open net. All of FaZe pushed up beyond the midfield line. You didn't see FaZe get caught out on their rotation at all in that last game. So FaZe clutch up on the backboard, stop 2-piece from dunking them into an overtime, and now FaZe have righted their vessel and try to take control of the series here in Game 3. First Killer starts things off with a little reset, and 2-piece flies in to get the first touch, but it leaves the rebound for Typical. Pass to Mist. Oh, low shot, and Mist fools the defense, puts it right underneath their bumper.
Oh, and this little touch from Typical, a thing of beauty, that gave Mist all the time in the world to read what the defense was giving him, and Mist does not disappoint. The little changeup, putting it behind the defenders who were already airborne, and once that defender's in the air, it's so much easier to get it around them.
2 like that now for Mist. That one a little cleaner than maybe the last one is 2-piece. Looking for the tying goal, taken away by Typical. Parth trying to set Memory up, but he's too far back. Typical's got him beat easily. Parth protecting the retreat for Rebellion. Out here for First Killer. Decent enough first touch, but he only had 20, couldn't make contact. First Killer demoing Memory out of the way. Trying to set Mist up against Parth, and then Mist got bumped by 2-piece, forced to flip the ball back out. You see, just lofting the ball in front of the box. And Rebellion finally get a 50 to break out. 2-piece shuffles the ball off a Mist. Now Parth has a shot, but taken away.
Oh, and then you're seeing some demos come out. 2-piece was targeted by Mist as well and did well to dodge it so that it could turn and get that clear. But FaZe, they're starting to look for the demos. You're seeing more and more of them.
Parth even almost got demoed by Mist there. Now 2 for Rebellion. Both jump for the ball. First Killer, just gonna dump it back. Typical cuts. And now both First Killer and Typical wait to move forward. Almost getting optimistic on his positioning there, but he got back to Parth on the 50. They do break out again with 2-piece behind the ball, but that's about as far as they get, James. As soon as 2-piece breaks through the midfield on a 50, the follow-ups aren't really forthcoming as they have to defend a shot, and they don't even get contact. First Killer, right side of the net, 2 goals for FaZe.
And Typical with a low boost, delays that touch. You saw Memory trying to figure out if he's going to go back wall pass, go infield. Well, goes infield, and First Killer was there and ready. Great communications, good control from Typical as well to stay on top of that play.
Just a little too far for Memory to stretch out. The 2-piece didn't make contact, but that was probably the better result. First Killer was waiting right there in midfield. FaZe still retained possession, and now they're starting to look like that bubble team destroyer that we know FaZe as. Not discrediting Shopify's run at all here, just FaZe being that top 4 team and talking about their success against teams they're better than. This is the form that I think we were expecting at the very start. As competitive as Rebellion have tried to make it, these last 2 games have been squarely FaZe.
Oh, certainly. I mean, and it's no disrespect to Shopify Rebellion. Like you're saying, we've seen FaZe continue to bring their A game at international competition in their region all the time. The consistency of FaZe can't be questioned. And so Shopify Rebellion, everyone, I would say for the most part, was expecting them to have a tough time in this series. Game 1, it looked like they may have a decent shot, but these last 2 games, FaZe really has been in control.
Even that 50 just goes the complete wrong way for Rebellion. They had to completely reset their rotation. No one was ready for that follow-up. And they're trying to find ways to shorten up the FaZe passing game, but FaZe keep finding the gaps. But what do? Parth trying to feign his approach to Mist. Does come back to 2Piece. The midfield has been a difficult one to figure out. 2Piece gonna take this one himself, but he gets off the ball just long enough. Now they finally have a little bit of possession here. But how can they actually push FaZe? Can they get that shot pressure? Right now, haven't had any of it. They spent about 15 seconds over here. There's the first, and it's taken away by Mist. 2Piece gonna take the boost, let Memory come in. Rebellion, what do they got? Memory, underneath on the reset, forces Mist into a tough spot. Shot denied by Mist 3 times now. Pass shot denied by first killer off the post. Memory racing, trying to keep Typical off the ball, but FaZe get the clear.
How on earth did one of those shots not go in? That was immense effort from FaZe on the goal line to keep Rebellion scoreless.
They even get it back to the orange half, but then Mist takes 2Piece out of the play. That would have kept the pressure up. Now Parth has to make up for lost time. 2Piece on the spawn. Can't keep the ball away from first killer. Bumps him out of the way. Memory a big clear. Rebellion absolutely needed something, but it's just return fire for FaZe. It gets sent to the orange, and it feels like it comes back to the blue with twice the force. Parth leaving it for 2Piece. This is looking good. You gotta feed your machine, but the 50 goes to the corner. Parth, what does he have? Pass in front, over to Memory. Oh, it denied again. All 3 jump for FaZe. First killer got there. Mist coming across. Another 50 for Memory, but he doesn't make contact, and first killer gets FaZe out again.
First killer, the one first to that block, also had support in Typical. The goal line defense from FaZe has been remarkable, and now they're gonna have to make another stop. First killer jumping early, and the swift support from Typical relieving some pressure, but it's still not over yet. Finally, with that touch, first killer is gonna let the pressure off.
Stay behind the ball. They've wasted enough time, and barring a Rebellion 2-second goal, will be a FaZe victory. Is that one just wide of the post? And I don't think they can get down far enough. Attempted pinch, cut off once more, but FaZe in full control. And now with 2 more to go to move on to the semifinals, the ball touches the ground.
And with that game, that's the first time that the Shopify Rebellion have been shut out in this regional. That goes to show you how good the FaZe Clan defense is to finally keep Rebellion scoreless, and it shows you how good Rebellion's offense has been this entire regional.
Yeah, shutting them down, certainly a feat. But FaZe on defense, I mean, some of these were so close. Mist getting that change-up shot certainly helped set the tone. The beautiful pass from Typical you saw, but then it was the defense. Missed here once, and then missed again. He didn't even have to move, and then there's one first killer's there. What do you do if you're Rebellion there? The whole net's closed, and the way the ball's bouncing, you're trying to cover options. You're trying to find a way to actually make yourself effective in the rotation, and it just kept happening that Rebellion had to keep shooting at the left side of the net. None of FaZe were really relenting on the left side of the net, and there's just nothing you could do. FaZe defense clutched up.
They have, and you know, in those situations, if you're FaZe Clan, you're very vulnerable to a fake or a change-up. We've seen it before. Well, Typical streaking in, goes all in on the shot. First killer also pre-jumping. You know, maybe Rebellion need to just slow it down, go for a slow shot, or even just go for a complete fake when they have FaZe on the goal line like that. Maybe that's what it's going to take to get through. They're going to have to figure out something, because FaZe, with those back-to-back wins, they're looking like they're picking up enough momentum to where maybe Shopify Rebellion won't be able to stop it.
And 2Piece has had a couple of breakaway opportunities, but it just goes back to talking about FaZe's form and how they've shut him down every time. They don't give him too much length on the ball. They've challenged him at the perfect spot. 2Piece does just launch the ball. His first killer almost got first touch there. It's typical. Can only play the ball away, and Rebellion, more defense coming for them. The ball kicked up for first killer. Back to Typical. Goes for the non-touch at first killer. Puts it in. FaZe draw it up perfect.
First killer solos him. He turns on this ball. 2Piece did his best to clear it out. And then first killer just jumps again. Typical also in the air, showing multiple looks to the defense. And I mean,
I don't know what you
feel bad for the Rebellion, Jordan.
You see Typical and first killer go up, and you're like, both of these are equally terrifying. I do not know which one's gonna hit this one first. Definitely gonna freeze you. Freeze most players. Typical coming back, preventing a shot from happening. And even Parth, he wins that 50, and you think, okay, now Rebellion gets set up. But then he gets deleted. A 2Piece, he's got to try to force that ball off first killer. And they keep getting pushed back beyond the midfield line. Parth, now he's got a little space, but first killer cuts him off quick.
Oh, in the ground pin shot, he Memory had 2-piece waiting in the mid, but still, this is some good pressure mounting. You see Memory now turning at full boost.
Nice.
There's the pass, but it was just past 2-piece. That was the right idea. If that finds 2-piece, you certainly think they're scoring.
Was going high to try to catch the pass, but he also had first killer in front of him. He didn't want to get demoed on the play. Now another shot comes, but Memory's there for the save. Missed. Puts it down in front, and Typical dove for it, leaving first killer all by himself. Memory has 2-piece on the wing. He takes it himself, and he missed off the post. No connection as Mist on the turnaround back to Typical. Back to Mist. Hard shot. You're not saving that one. Mist puts lead into it.
77 miles an hour, Mist to Typical, the give and go, and the placement was astonishing. Mist. That was a shot to remember.
That's why they signed him. We talk about all the time, Mist being a reliable shooter. That is exactly why FaZe picked up Mist on this team. Showing it against Shopify Rebellion. Parth getting a dunk. Can Rebellion get on the board? Nope. There's first killer.
Oh, 2v1 situation. It's going to be really tough for Memory, especially when you're going against first killer. Oh, man. First killer. He served this up on a platter.
All right, what do you do with your Memory there? It's first killer. He could be going for 1,000 different things. He just hope you could just back up into the ball and challenge him before he could get anything done. But first killer already had full control. Easy fake for first killer. And it almost feels like an easy 3-goal lead here for FaZe. And a little pop-up on the wheel, but no one's going to commit just yet. Rebellion now getting outshot, outscored 5-0 in the last 2 games. Rebellion still haven't come up with a goal since game 1.
Yeah, they have been outclassed these last 2 games, and now it's looking like the last 3 games. They had some...
Well, game 2, yeah, you're right.
And yeah, I mean, game 2, they did almost have a last-second comeback. They scored with 2 seconds on the clock, almost had something off kickoff, but game 3, all FaZe. Game 4, all FaZe. It looks like FaZe has found the adjustments, and they are really, you know, they have figured out this Rebellion squad so far.
Memory trying to get something going for Rebellion, but every touch is with an orange car in traffic. 2-piece getting bumped. Parth had to avoid an attacker last time. And then they get that transition, and that's the kind of desperation that they're in. 2-piece is just diving forward, hoping he can get a chip, hoping he can force FaZe into an unfavorable position. They do get a goal here. 2-piece able to actually catch FaZe out on their rotation. Have not been able to do that in several games, but a great 50 from Parth forces Typical into a spot where he can't really get back to the ball, and 2-piece delivers.
There was a little bit of indecision there from Typical. You saw him hesitate for just a moment on which path to take, whether to challenge the ball or whether to get back to net. And that 50 from Parth really set up that goal. Now all 3 go, but the clear is big enough to prevent that from really haunting them, Jorby.
Yeah, the phrase 3 heads are better than 1 doesn't normally apply, but if you get the clear, I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What is going on in front of the net?
This one has to be slower than 23. It's 20.
It's 20.
22 miles an hour.
You called it.
I think Mist bumped Memory harder than that shot was.
Can anyone hit 21? That's the next one. This match has been all about how slow you can shoot the ball. Now all of a sudden Rebellion are in position to tie it up. First killer, what a pass to Typical. Back over to first. Typical just couldn't get enough power. Memory trying to race back for a transition. All of Rebellion were played up pretty close there. They do connect with Memory in the corner. These are actually getting hurried up here. They got dunked and demoed. Parth, is he going to be able to get a 50? No, denied by Mist, but that actually works out. It's 2-piece. Falls back in front of the ball. Got the 50 back to Memory. Rebellion trying to build something here. But the 50s start going the other way. FaZe with control in the blue half and maybe stinting the comeback potential here for Rebellion.
And that was a good cut from Mist. First killer! Oh, it was Typical. I'm sorry. Typical was first killer with how clean that was, but Typical showing us his ability. That was a gorgeous double tap. Had just enough boost in the tank to make the play. And that was set up by Mist cutting off the pass to the midfield.
I think the only thing that could have went better on defense is Parth. He went to read the double touch, but he was absolutely in position, and he had the boost to just go for the backboard read. In that position, much better to try to go for the read than try to read where Typical's going to put that. can only cover so much of the net with that kind of read. Typical made him pay. So what are those small decisions you can make facing that kind of pressure on the goal line? You can only harp on the decision so much, but maybe it was savable. Parth gets underneath it. Can he set something up with time left? Well, he put one off the bar, and there's a goal with 1 second left, and we're gonna need some trickery here on the kickoff if Rebellion hope for a tie.
This is a run back of the same situation from game 2, except now there's only 1 second on the clock instead of 2. We'll see if there's any kickoff strat for the Shopify Rebellion to keep this ball in play.
Parth just going hard, cheat, supersonic. They get a favorable bounce off the ramp. 2-piece sees Parth on the left. Decent catch from Parth, but he's gonna get 50 the whole way back to his net. Memory keeping the ball alive. We've seen long 0-second drills. This could be the makings of another one. Memory sends it up. Parth, wait down a 2-piece. 0 seconds, they've done it! Rebellion failed the first time, but the second time is the charm. The whole way set from Memory back to Parth. We're going OT.
It had to be the perfect kickoff. There was no other avenue for the Shopify Rebellion to stay in that game. They had to have the kickoff. The ball needed to be elevated. It needed to hit the corner and bounce, and it did. The Rebellion, you never see that happen. It's so rare.
We just watched them try to do it a couple games ago, and they failed. They got kind of close to the net with that one, too. This time, they actually complete it and get the comeback, but they've lost a couple of these balls, and Rebellion need to be a little careful. They've got momentum. They need to find a way to grasp it and punish FaZe here to tie up the series. First killer already downfield. Not where you want him to be when he's got full control. Gets underneath on the reset. 2 coming for Rebellion. The follow-up man gets bumped out. He was on the opposite side of the field. Now Parth is given a clear. He's got a pass. 2 pieces wide open. Rebellion have tied the series.
They stole this game. I don't think I've ever seen a better steal than that game in my entire career casting the RLCS. I do not believe what we just saw.
That was insane. I mean, they were denied twice on the 0-second line. They lost the midfield challenge. They lost the ball after the initial kickoff went so well for them. First killer cuts them off, and then Memory saves the day in the corner. Bounces it off the ramp while First Killer's breathing down his neck, by the way, and then somehow orchestrates a 3-man passing play down the field. I mean, it literally, James, you might not have seen anything like that in the RLCS.
I've seen incredible 0-second goals. We've all seen
tons
incredible last-second goals, but to come back in that situation, 2
down 3 goals,
4 goals, scoring that situation, that pass, this overtime winner. That was a remarkable game. That is what I don't think I can ever forget this game. The Shopify Rebellion versus FaZe Game 4 will be seared into my memory forever.
And that was for it, man.
And honestly, in those final seconds, I was on First Killer's player cam, and he was just staying upfield. He was waiting for the game to end when that ball went in at 1 second. And then on kickoff, you just had to get the ball rolling on the ground. It says 1 second on the clock, but it can even be less than that. And all you need is just to have it roll. Just make it roll. It couldn't get elevated. I don't believe it.
Winning that third game, FaZe winning their third game would have assuredly put a pin in this one. And you're thinking 3-0. You don't see 3-0 comebacks all that often. FaZe are going to get the first goal here to start it off on Wasteland. I'm still recovering from the last game. Shopify Rebellion have made a series out of this where halfway through the last game, we didn't think there was one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this certainly blows the series wide open, but that's the recovery. If you're a FaZe fan, that's what you want to see is FaZe just getting into this game early, shaking off that last game, almost another kickoff goal. But I mean, it felt like FaZe had that one in the bag, but instead of 3-1 in the series, instead of this being match point, we're sitting here tied at 2-2. What an unbelievable moment that was.
Rebellion, they got to channel a little bit more of that. It's 2-piece dives for the stop. First killer pulling off on him. Parth trying to drive the 50 forward. 2-piece getting deleted. Memory knowing he has to defend the back end. He bought a little bit of time for 2-piece, but he's just not going to get there in time. First killer was ready to eat him.
And 2-piece has been making some nice defensive stops, but Memory didn't get the best touch that he was looking for. First killer position behind that ball. There was nowhere else for that ball to go other than in the net. Well done by First Killer, who's had a hand in what seems like every goal for FaZe.
And Rebellion in a familiar spot now, down 2 goals early to FaZe. They've done it once, they can do it again, right? Parth shot right into Mist, though. You're gonna need a better placement than that to get it done. There's 2-piece. Maybe Parth could have cut in there, but FaZe are gonna be ready for those soft touches. Mist just trying to cut 2-piece off. He actually forced him off the boost, but didn't get the steal. Couple of chain dashes there for, well, I guess a chain dash for Typical. The proper way to say that is 2-piece. Wait, he's got Parth downfield. Parth going high, making it uncomfortable for Mist, but First Killer's there to take him away.
Sees Mist. This is a double tap ball, but Mist couldn't get around it. And then the side flip from Typical. Typical had no boost, probably laid off for First Killer. And now a shot right back towards net. If First Killer got the bump on 2-piece, that would have opened the lane. We're seeing some good pressure from FaZe.
Apparently didn't matter. So they get downfield, but the old whifty on the last one. Now a 50, back to Memory. Mist is there. He's only got 16. Rebellion probably could have pushed there. Parth knows it. Parth underneath. He's got Typical to bite. First Killer plays it to the corner. And Typical will return back on the touch. Gets it back to First Killer. And you saw Parth kind of dizzying himself there. Not sure who was going to touch the ball when. And had to pull out of the rotation. Memory helps. Rebellion getting stuffed, James. Only 2 shots on net. Both coming from Parth.
Now, shot opportunity. That one sent wide. Memory. That was a nice look. But unfortunately for him in the Shopify Rebellion, that one was just wide.
Hard ball. Caught nicely here. Well, it was nice initially by Parth. He lost it. And 2-piece. Wins the 50 against Typical. Missed it. First Killer still back. Parth got the catch. Saved by Mist off the bar. First Killer there to follow up. Typical downfield to receive. Typical got the touch. He almost got the dunk against 2-piece, but he just didn't have enough boost. Mist able to send it forward, and it's just more time chewed off the clock.
And Mist is so good at that. He doesn't panic when he's last back, when he's on the goal line. He welcomes shots like that. And him making that save, that was a big one, and even kick-started the counterattack. So well done by Mist, getting the job done as third man.
Mist there to cut it off again. Memory only left with 36, but Fox kicked right down to him. More uncomfortable defense for Rebellion. Memory gets almost a free look. Mist finally gets there in time. 2-piece, not sure where that touch is really going to go for him. He wanted to be in the path of the boost. Parth is there waiting in midfield, but they need more of those consecutive touches. A pass, late pass to 2-piece. Memory's there to follow up. What's he got? He's got enough boost to get back to the dribble. Got a reset, but First Killer just steals the ball away. Dunked by Parth just off the post. Memory next up loses the ball to Mist. And FaZe kill more time. All 3 downfield. First Killer, easy redirect, off the bar. Typical, off the bar. Rebellion, hoping they can generate something, but the ball just kicks away too far from them. They're all chasing and finally get a 50 their way. No, First Killer is always in the spot. Completely kills any attack they have.
This has been so back and forth. You saw the chances from FaZe, then the Rebellion marching downfield. And FaZe Clan still have that game 4 fresh in their eyes. They need that insurance goal, and Typical gives it to them.
Oh, it's so pretty. We're talking about who's going to step up, who's going to be that next man for FaZe. How about the ceiling reset double for Typical? Come on, baby. That was sick. Yes, 3-0. Put them in the top plays, Gibbs. That was nasty.
You got to mark that one down. Typical getting the job done.
Oh, my. Chill out a little bit, FaZe. I think they're a little upset about the last game. But pass in front denied. And as time running out, I don't think there's gonna be any last-second heroics this time from Rebellion. 2-piece gonna wait. The Wasteland belongs to FaZe. Heading to Neo Tokyo, Rebellion get one more try to force game number 7, but FaZe right the ship again, plug up the holes, and put this one on ice.
And like I had mentioned before, Jorby, Shopify Rebellion coming into this series against FaZe hadn't been shut out at all in the regional, and now we see 2 games that FaZe Clan was able to keep them scoreless. And FaZe bounced back nicely. That is exactly what was called for FaZe after losing a game like that. And you probably could have expected it. We have a timeout being called for the Shopify Rebellion.
Have to at this point. FaZe, they've, while the comeback is impressive, FaZe have dominated the pitch for the most minutes. Rebellion, they've had some decent pushes, but I don't think they're generating nearly as much, continuous pressure that they need to actually break down this FaZe team. And I like some of the things that they were doing on offense. They were starting to get demos. They were starting to try to pull FaZe out of the rotation. They were changing things up with their mechanics. But I feel like the problem is First Killer. They were even starting to get around Mist near the end, but then First Killer's just there in the follow-up spot, and there doesn't really seem to be anything that they can do to actually get him off the ball.
I mean, there's a lot of problems. When you go against FaZe Clan, you got a lot of problems to deal with. Yeah. First Killer, certainly a big one. But honestly, Jorby, what I think the Rebellion could have done better that game was just placement. You saw Memory had a few shot opportunities. There were a couple that went just wide. And if those go in, it's a completely different game. So when FaZe Clan gives you those looks on net, you really have to make the most of them. We've seen some clutch factors specifically out of 2Piece. And then that game, 2Piece had 5 saves. Nobody else had any saves on the Rebellion. 2Piece has been playing out of this world, making a name for himself on the mainstream against a big-time opponent like FaZe. But now they find themselves one game away from being knocked out of the playoffs. We'll see what the Shopify Rebellion have in their bag.
I have been impressed with Parth as well. I feel like him and 2Piece have linked up more than a couple of times on, some nice duo opportunities. But even Memory getting a little mechanical on offense and getting aggressive, trying to get some of those chances. You talked about some of his missed ones. And I feel like Parth is almost being the facilitator for 2Piece on these breakaway opportunities. You see him drilling through the ball on these 50s, trying to put the ball in the best spot for his team to succeed. And I think that's where Parth is really excelling for the most part. The difficulty, as we've said over and over again, James, we get started in Neo Tokyo is, well, it's just FaZe Clan.
And also Mist. You saw in the highlight package that save from Mist over his shoulder. Mist, he just finds ways to keep that ball out of net.
First Killer back over to Mist. Let's get the dunk. The Shopify Rebellion, I think it would behoove them to score first if they really want hope. When FaZe have scored first in each of the last 3 games, it's going to be difficult, or really 4 games. It's going to be difficult to come back when your mentality is, well, you got to come back. Parth knows it, came up with the first save, but now they're lost, and they can't find a way to defend Mist, who gets the first goal for FaZe.
And this was a bit confusing. You see, Memory getting a little touch here. He gets bumped off the ball. Parth had full faith in Memory, but that bump from First Killer prevents any follow-up. Parth had to just watch in horror after the bump came through.
I feel like Parth would have been in a bad spot no matter what, because that ball came on the tail side of Memory's car. And I don't know if Parth would have been in the best spot to follow up anything.
He needed Memory to not get bumped and for Memory to make that play.
First Killer. Gonna set up to get the second goal here. Goes underneath. Parth able to get down on the 50. Now 2Piece. Gonna get a free look on the reset. 2Piece taken away by Sypical. Not good enough to get by 1. Memory gets deleted on the play. Parth coming in. Pops it up high. They are starting to stretch FaZe. If you want to get by them, they're going to need to hold that midfield line. They're doing it for now. Memory, a light touch, taken away by Mist, but the light touch allows Typical to come in. That's the factor the Mist will always bring. The smart touch is the right touch, and he gets the demo, gets the clear. Parth playing it down into the corner. Maybe setting the ball up. A couple of 50s for Rebellion here. And then the 50 just pops straight out to Mist off the typical. Mist knows he's got it, and he goes! Mist threads the needle and pushes his way into the Rebellion box.
And we're seeing FaZe play such a physical game. Typical jumping up actually got in Memory's way. Mist and Typical working together to make that play happen. And you saw him bouncing around, actually ping pong back and forth before finally going in. But FaZe, they've got so many different tools in their toolkit. They are a lot to handle for anybody, and that's proven true against Shopify Rebellion as well.
Parth through 2, and then Mist is there as the third to back it up on the backboard. 2-piece. Able to get the ball up initially, but now he's got to respawn. Parth. More defense. FaZe lined up all the time. First killer in the air. Back to Mist. Goal and a save from Parth. Typical have to race back as well. Maybe a chance for Rebellion, but 2-piece has no boost. He's not going to catch up to this ball in time. Parth given a little look. He got over Typical, but there's first killer. And you're not going to get by that easily as he just launches it on the pot shot. 2-piece turns it away. Plenty of time for Rebellion to get reset. 2-piece looking for a way out. Midfield still held by FaZe.
And on that passing play, you thought surely Mist was going to score. Now, dang it off the crossbar twice. FaZe, they've had now multiple good looks that they weren't able to put away. And that's going to leave the door barely open for the Shopify Rebellion.
Memory got a good 50, back to 2-piece, but ball's coming down too fast. Another shot, saved again! It doesn't matter who it is. Did FaZe number 1 fail? All right, number 2's there. Wait, did FaZe number 2 fail? Hang on. Well, Memory, he couldn't get past the 2-man. What about Parth? He's got nothing. 2-piece. Turns back around, Mist, avoids the demo, gets the clear again. Rebellion got a try from the blue.
Rebellion really having a tough time figuring out this FaZe Clan defense. I mean, this is game 6. Every game so far, FaZe the first to score. We've seen multiple shutouts by FaZe. Now they're going to get another one, potentially. First killer puts that wide. But time is running out. The fall open journey for the Shopify Rebellion looks like it's about to end.
Parth pops it up over 1. We've seen a little magic before. How much mana the Shopify Rebellion got left? Ball up high and kicked away. The 50s have not gone their way. FaZe have been excellent on the challenge game. Rebellion chasing every ball down, but it's with FaZe control. Parth, no pass, but a light touch from Memory might set this up. 2-piece committed with Parth. He's not going to follow this one up quickly and has to rotate the whole way back. It's more time off the clock. Typical pumps it downfield. Taken out by Parth. Lead. Not that. Missed. Back over to the corner. Less than 30 seconds to go. Granted, they only needed like 2 seconds and some extra time off the ground.
Barely
but you know,
more than
James,
1 second is all they needed.
Barely.
So, you know, FaZe are not letting off the gas in this one and playing it all the way to the very end.
10 seconds left. That's exactly what they're doing. Typical. Touch out, the net's open. First killer denied by 2-piece, but it's all a play for time. FaZe Clan clean up easy at the end of the series. Shopify Rebellion eliminated with a top 8 placement. FaZe once more, once again. You know, it rains, it pours. FaZe Clan get a top 4.
Yeah, death, taxes, and FaZe finishing top 4. That's the only certainty that you'll have in life. And FaZe Clan prove that to be the truth here. A nice win against the Shopify Rebellion, but what an effort Shopify Rebellion made, especially in that game where 1 second left on the clock, and they end up tying it up, winning in overtime. That is such a rarity. You barely ever see it at this level.